New Moon in Pisces, 28 degrees, 19th of March, 2026, 1:24 Greenwich Mean Time. Waking up from the dream. This month has had a lot going on for various reasons. The sun was moving through Pisces, the final stage of the cycle, so there was a feeling of the closing up of a lot of loose ends. This sentiment was added to by the last lunar eclipse on the South Node in Virgo, which is all about completing our to-do lists and closing up on a way of doing things in Virgo-ruled areas of our lives. But we had a lot of energy that was thwarting this impulse to be diligent and organised and tie up those loose ends. Pisces demands a certain just go with the flow approach. And with the Sun and North Node here, as well as a Mercury retrograde since February 26th, we've been in a push-pull that tries to get things done, but kind of has to admit defeat and take a chill pill. Let's just sit and reflect a bit. Will have been likely the winner. Very well done if you did tie up those loose ends. However, with this new moon on the 19th and the movement of the Sun into Aries, the first degree of the zodiacal wheel, and the spring equinox, as well as Mercury coming out of retrograde motion on the 20th too, there will be a big shift in momentum from let's just sit down and make a fire and take a nap and do some dreaming of all the things I'd like to do if I could remember where I am, who I am, and what's going on here anyway, to a sudden moment of waking up. Let's get the show on the road, guys. Charge! Or there would be if the Sun wasn't then immediately met with Neptune, Saturn, and heading up to Chiron later in the coming month, as well as Mercury and Mars still somewhat lost in Pisces. Perhaps the energetic shift could be the one where we move from being asleep or dreaming, intoxicated by the fire, to a movement of standing up suddenly and realizing we've got to go get water and food and survive, take action, but still thinking about the dream, waking up from the stupor, a little groggy and hungover. Desperate for water and food now, however. Let's go on a mission. Who's coming with me? Oh, no one. I'm going to have to do it alone. You lot, whoever you are, anyway, taking too long. No idea what your plan is, but it's not mine. See you later. And off we as Aries go impulsively, but still fairly dazed and confused. With Mercury in Pisces now being more externalized than the previous 3 weeks, where we kept our dreamy cosmic confusion to ourselves, now we actually are talking about the fairies. Not that anyone's really listening, they've got their own dreams going on. When the Sun in Aries meets Neptune and Saturn in the days following this new moon, we will meet the collective delusion that's been playing in the background of the last month in our personal lives more vividly. However, if you do this moment well, it's really a time to make manifest your dreams, bring them into reality, set those plans you've been making into motion. All those spiritual healers out there, now is your moment. Arise, go forth. Spread your healing into this earthly realm. Bring heaven to earth through collective and solitary meditations for world peace. On the flip side, consensus reality will be steaming ahead, forging its next delusional paradigm, developing its new denial tools to control the masses. But know this, the numbers of those embodying and working towards truthfulness in their unique ways will be rising exponentially at this time. There is much hope for the world. Do not be deceived into thinking otherwise. The goodness of the universe can never not ultimately win. It is eternally so. All negativity is a temporary phenomena, and in truth there is really nothing to fear. So cultivate this knowingness in yourself at this time. This is the seed that changes the world and combats all fear. The truth is eternal, and when you know this wholeheartedly, you will be free. in alignment with all that is and ready to be the instrument of the universe that you are destined to be. Though I do believe it takes many lifetimes of rigorous self-inquiry to reach that perception, with an extensive amount of struggle and strife for the ego beforehand. But deep within, I believe we all know that there is truly nothing to fear somewhere. It's just very, very buried under clouds and clouds of unhelpful worry, ignorance, and delusion, confusion. Anyway, wishing you all a very, very blessed new year, because until 1750, March the 25th was actually the new legal year in these parts. The spring equinox coincides with the time in which the sun, from our position on Earth, is positioned at 0 degrees of Aries, the very start of the zodiacal cycle. The time in which new life springs forth, the time to plant new seeds, both physical and metaphorical. In celebration and recognition of this time, I have created a calendar that begins at 0 degrees Aries on the 20th of March 2026 and ends on the 19th of March 2027, when the sun reaches the final degree of the zodiac, 29 degrees of Pisces. The calendar contains the new and full moon dates, as well as the major transits and movements of the planets. Each month begins at 0 degrees of the next zodiacal sign. You can find these calendars to buy on my website, www.astrologywithmaitri.org. And I will send a free one to anybody who signs up for a reading with me during the first month of the zodiacal new year, beginning the 20th of March 2026. Happy New Year, friends. May all your seeds come to flower.